How many of you woke up this morning and thought to yourself, today I'm going to be extraordinary? Chances are not too many of us did that. You know, really, we think about ourselves as ordinary people leading ordinary lives. And yet, the reality is, we have the opportunity to all be extraordinary. Today, I want to dare you to be extraordinary. When we think about the word dare, we often think about taunting or goading, but it can also mean moving somebody out of their comfort zone. When I was a kid and a teenager, I was extremely shy. It was hard for me to talk to other people I didn't know, painful, in fact. So when I was a teenager, my friends used to dare me to go talk to cute boys. I don't think they were being mean, or maybe they were, but they were also really trying to encourage me to get outside of my comfort zone and start to get to know people that I otherwise wouldn't have ordinarily talked with. I have been doing leadership research for the last 25 years. For the last 8, I've become fascinated with why some people perform at extremely high levels, particularly during adverse times. I've interviewed hundreds of executives from for-profit corporations, nonprofit corporations, universities, government organizations, asking them the questions about what it took to be successful in difficult and challenging times. What I'd like to do today is to talk to you about 3 things that I found that lie in the heart of all extraordinary people: passion, courage, and resilience. There's a great quote from the movie Serendipity. At the end, one of the characters says, "The Greeks did not have obituaries. They asked instead, did he have passion?" What I found in research is that extraordinary people have a zeal, an enthusiasm, a focus, and a passion for their work and for their lives. Steve Jobs was passionate about bringing technology to the world and changing the world through technology. He was relentless with this passion. Extraordinary people have a passion for what they do each and every day. We also know that companies can create a culture of passion. Enterprise Holdings is the #1 rental car company here in the United States. They are absolutely passionate and absolutely focused on exceeding customer expectations, which is why they are ranked #1 in the polls year after year after year. Andy Taylor, the chairman and the CEO, says, if we take care of customers and employees first, profits will follow. It's all about the people, and it's about serving people. They train all of their employees. They select and interview people with an eye towards others who want to serve the customers. They promote people not based on profits, but based on their customer service scores. They have threaded customer service through everything that they do within that company, and it's part of the culture. I had a chance a few years ago to observe this passion firsthand. I was at an academic conference, and I was pulling into the bay at Enterprise, and some colleagues of mine from another university pulled in beside me. They all kind of were jumping out of the car and kind of in a harried way were saying, "We're going to be late, we're going to miss our plane." Without missing a beat, the Enterprise employee said, "Hey, don't worry about it. Don't take your bags out, jump back in the car, I'll drive you to the terminal, and then I'll take the car back, check you in, and send you an email receipt." Didn't even think about it. Of course, my colleagues made their plane, were exceedingly happy, and were Enterprise fans for life. What we know right now in the United States is that 55% of our employees are not engaged with their company, with their organization, and with their work. They don't have the same passion that Enterprise has created for their employees. They don't have the same passion for their work. And in fact, 16%, what we found in research is that 16% of our employees are completely disengaged. You can't be extraordinary if you're not engaged. Extraordinary people understand the why of what they do in their jobs and in their lives. And they find it deep within themselves each and every day to have a zeal and enthusiasm for what it is that they do. The second attribute of extraordinary people is courage. We all remember the beloved lion from The Wizard of Oz. He said, "You're right, I am a coward. I haven't any courage at all. I even scare myself." What we found out was that, in fact, the lion had the courage within himself the entire time. Extraordinary people have the courage to make really hard decisions, unpopular decisions, scary decisions, and they have the courage to do the right thing. In 2005, Andy Roddick, who is a U.S. tennis star, was the #1 seed at the Rome Masters. He was at match point, and his opponent served the ball. The umpire called it a double fault serve. Andy had won. He's walking up to the net to go shake his opponent's hand, and he looked down at the court, which happened to be clay. And on the corner of the line, he saw a ball mark. In fact, the ball was not out. It was in. He called the umpire over, and he pointed to the ball mark on the court. The umpire reversed the decision, and Andy went on to lose. He didn't have to do that. Umpires' calls in tennis are absolute, and instead he called him over and had him reverse the decision. It was the right thing to do. It was the courageous thing to do. Companies can also face very difficult situations. Many of you probably stopped and picked up a coffee this morning from Starbucks, or maybe you're going to go this afternoon and pick one up. Exceedingly popular company, exceedingly popular coffee. But they weren't always doing so well. In 2007, Starbucks stock had dropped 42%. 42%. Now, you all remember what happened in 2008. We had the world's biggest economic crisis that we've ever seen. Starbucks was in a crisis turnaround situation. The founder, Howard Schultz, at that time was chairman, decided to come back and be CEO. And he said, we have to get back to the kind of company that we were when we started. He said, I began Starbucks because I had a passion for coffee. I wanted to develop the best baristas that we could possibly have. He had to make some really tough and hard decisions as the CEO, and his company had to make those decisions with him. At that time, Starbucks had divested into a lot of other product lines. And Schultz said, you know what, we have to get back to our core business. So they got rid of those extra businesses and those extra products. And he said, we really have to figure out what it means to be a great coffee company again. He said, I'm going to do some extreme things. I'm going to shut down all of the stores across the United States for 3.5 hours, and we're going to retrain everybody on what it means to serve coffee and to be a great barista. The media went crazy. They said, Schultz is nuts. Are you kidding me? What is he doing shutting everything down? His competitors like McDonald's said, hey, you know what? This is an opportunity for us. We're going to run some specials on McCafes. Come buy coffee from us while they're shut down. But Schultz was very honest and open with his employees, and he said, we all have to get back to the core of our business and what it means. As you may know, the story goes on. Starbucks recovered, and they continue to thrive in today's environment. What we know from research is that we are often faced with a lot of really tough decisions. And they generally come into 3 categories. Moral decisions, like what Andy Roddick had to make, doing the right thing. Extraordinary people always ask themselves, what is the right thing to do? Even if it doesn't serve me well, or if it's not going to be a popular decision. We are also faced a lot of times with emotional types of situations, and it takes courage to deal with those. Conflicts with coworkers, conflicts within our lives. Sometimes we do have to say things that people aren't going to like, and it's very emotional for us. Extraordinary people have the courage to make the emotional decisions. And finally, as I mentioned before, decision making each and every day is difficult for many of us. The thing that I've found is that a lot of times it's fear that holds us back. There was a great example that was done in actually Central Park back in January, where they put up a board, and it was just a chalkboard, and they said, "My biggest regret is ... And everybody that was walking by wrote down what their biggest regret was. When they kind of looked at it in its totality, people's biggest regrets were not things that they had done to other people. People's biggest regrets were things that they didn't do. I didn't go to law school. I didn't go to med school. I didn't start my own business. I didn't reach out to that person in need. Oftentimes, fear will hold us back from making decisions that we should be making. Extraordinary people grab a hold of their fear, release it, and move forward with the courage that they need to take action. Many of you have probably watched the popular movie Creed, and of course you go back to Rocky. Rocky Balboa had a great quote, and it said, "It ain't about how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done." The third attribute that I found in my research of extraordinary people is that they all have a high level of resilience. We saw Oprah Winfrey, who is a national TV phenomenon, was told early in her career that she was misfit for TV. We all get told no. We all make mistakes. We all have failures. We all have hardships. Extraordinary people have the resilience to jump back and to get right back into the game. You may be familiar with RMAX Holdings, an international real estate franchise company. Dave Linacre, who is the chairman and the CEO, often says, "The more times I'm told no, the better I do." Very early in his career, he had an unusual idea for how to put together a real estate franchise model. And everybody told him he was crazy. And the no, 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 no is what actually fueled him to keep going and to start his company and to make it a worldwide phenomenon that it is today. But it goes beyond, I think, success in business. About 10 years into the company, Gail Linacre, Dave's wife, who was his #1 employee, was in a tragic airplane accident. And she came out with a severe brain injury. She was a vital part of the company. It took almost a year for her to recover. She still has limited use of her arms and limited use of her legs. But she's taught herself how to play golf one-handed. She does 10,000 steps a day, puts me to shame. She's an active part of that company, participates in all the meetings, and everybody knows and loves Gail, and she is very much the face of that company. Extraordinary people deal with what it is that they're handed. What we know from research, that a lot of times it's our attitude. It's our attitude about how we're going to pick ourselves back up and keep moving when we're hit with extraordinary hardship. The real difference between ordinary and extraordinary people is their resilience to keep going back at it day after day after day. So I want to dare you. I want to dare you to have passion for your work and for your life and for the activities that you're engaged in. I want to dare you to have the courage and put aside the fear and put yourself outside of your comfort zone. And I want to dare you to be resilient. The next time you face a hardship or get knocked down or feel bad about something, to pick yourself back up and say, I'm going to just go right back at it again, either today or tomorrow. What if tomorrow morning you wake up and say to yourself, today I'm going to be extraordinary? Thank you.